Hello and welcome back. So today we will dive a little bit deeper into operational value creation in the context of private equity. And the topic is buy and build. A conversation on how private equity firms, and obviously other firms as well, can really get it right, can ace it. So let's start off. Why does buy and build matter? Especially today, private equity can no longer rely on leverage alone driving returns. The industry has grown from a cottage industry to a large industry. Competition is rife, and to achieve excess returns above average for the respective vintage requires a little bit more. Operational value creation is literally part of most private equity firms' playbook. Now, obviously, that is exacerbated as I'm recording this by higher interest rates, shrinking arbitrage opportunities, if you like, in a market that is well served by private equity players around the world. It also, buy and build also works across sectors. So this is not a conversation specifically for tech companies. Nevertheless, let me add on to that, quite a few of the venture capital funds have started to employ this strategy as well to acquire, be it AI startups, to build larger platforms. So if you're from a venture capital fund, this lecture is for you as well. Now, back to buyouts. Add-ons, add-on investments account for the majority of buyouts in recent years, as you can see. The red bar being add-ons, the blue one standalone original buyouts. So very, very clearly, this is kind of like a trend that has been well observed for the last couple of years. But let's dive in now. What is buy and build? What does it actually mean? And the one-word answer is scaling, achieving scale. Now you know why I said the venture guys can stay in the room if they like to. So, number one, it means acquire a well-positioned platform company, like the first company that you acquire. That company becomes your starting point to add smaller, often related companies as add-ons to the fray. Obviously, if you are targeting to consolidate a fragmented market, in private equity, we would call this a roll-up strategy. So a highly fragmented market, and you're saying, we're going to buy number one and two, and then become the largest player in this environment. We drive operational improvements once we've acquired all those add-on companies and hopefully grow. 1 + 1 should equal more than 3 or 4. That's the idea. I flew in a little bit of a timeline, if you like, pre-deal planning, how will we integrate, what will we buy, how will we execute, will we bring in our own team, will we bring external teams, do we have to hire a new management team for the growing and later on larger company, and then how do we capture value post-integration. Now, elements in a buy and build strategy. I'm using on the right side a visual that you will recall if you read my recent book on Mastering Private Equity, the second edition. On the left bottom side, we're starting with the platform. We have various add-ons that obviously require some synergies and bring additional value to the company. And hopefully we will basically be able to sell the company having a multiple arbitrage. Now, value creation through add-on acquisition to create market leaders. Those are this is the core element of buy and build strategy. What it surely requires is a team that is skilled at integrating all those pieces. And we will come back to that. It is not a small feat. So by now, everyone is clear what the structure is of a buy and build strategy. execution really does matter. And again, it's not only for the tech sector. Nowadays, I mention that because that is unfortunately or fortunately taking up a lot of the airwaves right now. Now, what is a typical timeline in a buy and build strategy? So usually year one of the strategy will be, or year zero, is the original platform company being acquired. Adding 1, 2, or 3 companies to the original platform company, and in theory there's no limit to it, can take between 3 to 5 years. Now, for private equity, let's be mindful that private equity funds tend to operate out of a 10-year closed-end fund. So yes, timeline to exit does matter. Keeping in mind that we still have to integrate and capture the value that's being created by the add-on acquisitions, I would say 5 to 7 years is absolutely the maximum. So down there you can see a little bit of platform acquisition number 1 on the left side, and then we're adding, in this case, 5 additional companies to the fray and getting them ready for exit. Now you can imagine, if you are doing more than 2 or 3 acquisitions to an existing platform in a year, you need a couple of ingredients to make this actually work. And that basically sets it up nicely for the art of integration. It is critical, what we call so nicely post-merger integration. It requires a deep knowledge of the sector by the private equity firm, and obviously a tailored approach, not just a checklist, but a tailored approach, process, and a team that can help the platform to grow and absorb all those acquisitions as they are being made. If you want to do this as your playbook as a private equity firm, the tailored approach should somehow become, over time, institutionalized. Let's have a look at the success factors that lead to a successful post-merger integration. And I'm drawing here from an article we recently published at INSEAD Knowledge with 2 of my students. Success factor number 1, leadership and teams. And obviously, it starts by retaining and supporting the existing leadership team as you are adding more companies to the fray. Number 2, appoint C-level integration sponsors. Who will basically be the sponsor for the integration of the C-level from the acquired companies? And ultimately, again, as a private equity firm, if this becomes part of your playbook, using experienced operating partners as so-called SWAT teams that come in, work with the acquiring company, especially through the first 100 days to get them ready for the present acquisition and future acquisitions to come. Success factor number 2, speed and accountability. It is crucially important in private equity particularly to start the integration of those companies in the early days of the first 100 days. Why is that? Again, we're operating within a constrained time horizon, 10-year fund. So getting companies quickly ready so we can prepare them for exit again is important. Obviously, it requires clear milestones, rigorous reporting throughout the process, so we know when we're falling short of certain targets being set. And creating systems and processes that are replicable obviously makes life easy, especially if multiple acquisitions are being managed with the same platform at the same time. Success factor number 3, collaboration and culture. It usually in M&A, it's being mentioned as the most critical part to ensure that those mergers actually succeed. That requires to foster culture and trust amongst the team that are being brought together. Use co-location and mirroring teams in the process just to ensure that everything literally integrates and ensure a smooth knowledge transfer to have the benefit of this particular integration into the main platform. Now, the secret sauce, to summarize it, it's not just framework, it's execution. Execution at scale or to scale. Disciplined leadership, repeatable and robust systems, emphasis here I think on repeatable, and operating integration as a core capability. Now, the key takeaways from what we just heard. Number one, great buy and build firms master not only integration, but master integration and scaling. They develop repeatable playbooks, processes that can be rolled out in multiple companies or for the same platform company repeatedly in parallel. It's PE value creation with brutal discipline around rigorous and cohesive execution. Now, if you enjoyed this presentation and you want to go a little bit deeper, number one, you should join my channel below because we will have more fireside chats and more lectures coming out around it. But also you may want to read the article we published at Knowledge, How Private Equity Firms Can Ace, Buy and Build. And I also stuck in here the book by my colleague Laurence Capron, Build, Borrow or Buy. I think the title doesn't need any explanation, but as a company, should you ever get to that milestone, highly recommended reading. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you again in my next video. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel below.